What's up, my producer friends? Another monster here, anothermonsterproductions.com. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to do sort of a walkthrough video of this collaboration that I'm doing with one of my artists. He goes by Ian Watson. I'll be sure to leave some links in the description of this video if you guys want to check him out or any of the music that we've done together in the past. But I'm making this video for a couple reasons, and that is that one, we're working on this new track right now and this new project with him. And it is sort of an 80s inspired synth wave, retro wave kind of synth pop project. And this is something that I have very little experience making. And just in general, when we work together, he has just a very, very different style of making music than I do, which is great for me because it pushes me outside of my comfort zone and outside of my box. And that's what actually allows us to grow as producers and as people, to get outside of our comfort zone and do new things. So I wanted to share with you guys kind of this project and how I sort of approached working on it with him. And I think this video is going to be very beneficial for anyone who doesn't really have a whole lot of experience collaborating with other people, especially like artists. If maybe you're interested in working with artists in the future, or maybe you're just starting out doing that, then I think this video is going to be very helpful for you. All right, so basically what we did is he sent me some stems, and then we I took a listen, loaded it up, did some sort of rough mix, took some notes, and then we talked about, some of the things that he definitely wanted to keep, some of the things that he didn't like very much, and potentially some things he wanted me to change. Let's go ahead and take a listen, and then we'll talk more about, what we kind of did. Keep in mind, this is a rough mix. I have added some volume automation, which is essentially like a side chaining type stuff. I added it on the bass here, and then also some percussion here. But let's go ahead and take a listen. Okay, cool. So as you can hear, very 80s retro video game sounding, and that's what we're going for with this project. When I heard this song, there were a couple of things that stood out to me that I wanted to potentially change, that I thought would fit more with the vibe of the track. One thing I forgot to mention is the name of this track is Lady of the Night. And so this main lead synth, when we talked on the phone, I asked my artist if he'd be open to me changing the lead synth, and we've been working together a little while, so he kind of has faith in me that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these sort of things. So I think he was a little bit hesitant about it, but he was like, I'm open to you, experimenting with it and seeing what you come up with. He was not too happy with the way the drums were, but I think a lot of that was just because it needed this automation that I added to it, this sort of side chain to give it more movement. And then also when you add that with the bass as well, that really helps the song with that movement and with that fluidity. So yeah, let's start with what I did first, which is add these sort of automation clips here. And we'll just listen to this percussion. These are the shakers. So that's what it sounds like after adding. As you can see, there's an initial transient hit here, and basically I just automated that out on every beat of the measure. So, and then again, the same sort of thing with this percussion here. It sounds like this. So with this one, I actually got a little bit more intricate, as you can kind of see here. Just zoom in a little bit more, but it's kind of like cut out right after the hit. It just stops like halfway through, and you can kind of hear that. It doesn't happen with that last one, as you can kind of hear. And I just, in the context of the drums, it felt like it needed that. And then when you add the sub or the bass synth, so as you can hear, having that sidechain effect on the bass just makes, well, I didn't show you without it, but it makes a huge difference, trust me. So the next thing that I did was I wanted to mess around with this lead synth here, which we're talking about in the chords, which I had asked him if he was open to potentially changing. It sounds like this by itself. And I don't know exactly how to explain what I didn't like about this for this particular track. There's definitely some weird chords going on there. I haven't tried to look in because he sent me just stems. I haven't like looked in the MIDI to see exactly what's going on there. But basically what I came up with, I experimented with a couple things. I experimented with some like melodies and sort of doing something more similar to this, where it was like the choppy sort of video gamey sound. And then I got to thinking about it and I was like, you know, I feel like what this song really needs is like a really airy pad with just some chords to give it that space, because there's already, you know, a lot of other stuff going on anyway. So yeah, this is what I came up with. Let me go ahead and just mute this and I'll just sort of play the intro, play it from here. All right, cool. So that's what I came up with. If we were to go into these chords, basically what we have here is, it kind of took me a while to break this down and figure out what chords the song needed. But pretty much all it is just a G sharp minor chord into a C sharp major chord, and then it's inverted. So I'm actually starting on the 5th of the chord, which is that D sharp right there. Also D sharp up there. And then I kind of just, I don't know, I just played with it to see, obviously there's a couple different octaves going on here, and I just was playing with it to find which particular note sounded the best. So again, this sounds like this by itself. And then what I did was, by the way, this was a pad called Smooth and Warm. I don't remember if I did any sort of tweaking on it or not, but I brought it up into my mixer and I added some EQ on it. Looks like that. I also added a isotope vinyl on it. And the reason for this was to give it that warp depth. So I can take these off. So that gives it that going in and out of tune sound, which is very retro, and gives it that sound, that vibe that we're going for here. All right, so the next sort of thing that I did in here was I added this volume effect or volume automation clip here, which you can kind of see this going on, and I'll just sort of solo this and play it by itself so you can hear it. And basically all this is doing is just sort of cutting out whenever the kick and the snare hit. Here, I'll play it in context. And you can kind of hear it right there, but when you bring in the rest of the track, let me mute this. It's a little harder to tell that it's actually going on, and it's just, I mean, it's just another thing that it allows the drums to stand out a little bit more and punch through the mix. But it also gives sort of this cool breathing feeling within the track. So another thing that I added on this track, which is kind of a cool little effect and something you guys can potentially do. I do this a lot in my mixes, but this little lead pluck here when it comes in, you're probably not going to be able to hear it because I'm streaming this in mono, but I have this effect on it, which is basically an auto pan. It looks like this, free plugin. Basically it's going back and forth from left and right, and if you had like headphones on, then it would just be like swimming around in your head. So it's a very cool potential effect you can do if the mix or if the song is sort of calling for that. And then I also did it over here when this particular synth comes in here. So that's another cool effect. It's already got sort of like a flanger or a phaser or some sort of effect, which sounds really cool. And then you add the like going left and right in the stereo field too. And it just, I mean, very cool effect. So yeah, and that's about it. I mean, that, you know, I still, as I mentioned, this is still a work in progress. We've still kind of got a long way to go. There is a chorus and I did sort of have to do different chords for that, but we're still kind of working on that part. And I don't want to make this video too long, but I hope this video was helpful for those of you who are maybe interested in getting into working on music, you know, with other people. And even if you're not, I mean, I think you can probably learn a lot from this video. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you liked it, please go ahead, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Also, let me know in a comment down below if you like this type of video. I can potentially do more videos like this in the future as I continue to work on more tracks with E.M. Watson and various other artists that I'm working with as well. So leave that in a comment down below. Also, be sure to check the description of the video, because as well as E.M. Watson's links, I'm also giving away a couple free things down there. I've got an ebook and also a drum kit that I'm giving away. So check that out, and I will see you guys in the next video.